Hello everyone, and welcome to Beyond the Beard Quick Fix. Beyond the Beard is hosted by the Matabase and Falcon. To find the Matabase, go to twitch.tv/thematabase. To find Falcon, write your message in the sand at the beach, and the tide will take it to him.
Hi, this is Greygast here with another quick fix. Today I'll be doing Star Wars. I will start out with the X-Wing game. We have another wave on the horizon. It's going to be one with two bigger ships. We have the YT-2400 freighter, and then for the Imperial side, we have the VT-49 Decimator. This is going to introduce some interesting things. The freighter is mainly going to be for mobility. It actually has one of the, I guess the barrel roll of its kind for larger ships. I can't remember exactly the mobility of the Millennium Falcon. That's probably the best ship to describe this against, is the Millennium Falcon. It's just a bigger, bulkier Millennium Falcon. It has some pretty decent equipment. It's basically the kind of ship you sort of want to take out of the fight and just kind of float around and pick stuff off. It has some pretty good range. I believe it has a secondary weapon that is a 360 directional, was it a heavy laser cannon, I believe? I think it's going to go well with the Rebel general mobility feature of them. I don't know how I feel about it. I actually think it's a bit underwhelming when compared to what's coming out with the Imperial. And actually with that, I'm just going to move on to the Imperial ship because this is the one I'm more excited about. It's the VT-49 Decimator. This is going to actually be the biggest ship that comes out in medium size. This would be basically a ship, I guess, just not the Tarnus, so anything in that medium range. Now, this one looks really nice. I have to say that the main reason I play Imperial is just the ship's appearance. I'm not too into either side story-wise, but the ships on the Imperial side are just amazing looking. With this ship, you actually have quite a few options. It basically is going to either have the ability to sort of kind of hug the edges of the battlefield and just pick stuff off. It actually has a 360 range on its primary weapons. Or one of the options, I believe, with one of the captains is the ability to, when ramming, as opposed to normally that being a negative to you, it'll actually assign damage to the enemy. And that'll be any number of bases, I believe, that it comes into contact with. So that's pretty cool. I'm not sure on their releases. Fantasy Flight generally tends to just keep labeling things soon. It is aimed for the third quarter, so it's anywhere between, I guess, now and recording till, I'd probably say, October at the latest, usually. I'm pretty pumped for the Decimator. It also comes with Mara Jade, which, pretty big Star Wars Extended Universe character that's pretty popular. Actually, let me see if I can pull up. Is her ability on here? I guess not. Well, I guess we'll have to wait and see what she's supposed to do. I'm assuming based on the kind of character she is, she's probably going to be pretty aggressive. She might be the kind of captain that plays into the kind of skirting the edges with the heavy-duty firepower. Yeah, they're just going to hide it from us. Well, anyway, that's the end of X-Wing, and then next I will be covering the Star Wars Armada. Okay, now on to Star Wars Armada. Now, this game has probably quite a few people excited. This is actually sort of what I was hoping X-Wing would represent, but I understand why the scale was just not going to allow this. Star Wars Armada is essentially reenacting the movies. It's the scale. This is going to be the game that actually lets you use a Star Destroyer. If I'm not mistaken, I believe even Admiral Akbar comes in this set for the Rebel side. So, I mean, you can literally just pull off, like, fights in front of the Death Star kind of stuff, which is pretty cool. Basically, how this game will function is there are going to be TIE fighters, but they're going to come in little squadrons, and you're in charge of a fleet, usually headed by a fairly large ship. On the Imperial side, a Star Destroyer. I believe the Republic actually gives you a few options. It has a very X-Wingy feel. The rulers seem similar. The cards have the same basic idea going on, 8-sided dice. The big difference is actually going to be in its playout. TIE fighters and X-Wings are going to function very much like X-Wing as far as quick, the fast-paced nature of X-Wing. The big difference is going to be that the capital ships, the large ships, actually are going to have movement and actions over a long period of time. So you're going to have a much... there's going to be a lot more to manage and strategize than the previous X-Wing. This is going to have a much more fleet quality to it, so you're going to be moving a lot of things in swarms. You're going to have a lot of long-term decisions to make. It looks really interesting. Something I noticed some people mentioning that seemed like a really cool idea was playing X-Wing as a way to resolve the TIE fighter fights in Armada. Now, this could take hours to play, but I mean, if you're at a gaming store with some friends and wanted to pull that off, it sounds really cool. I would love to see maybe Fantasy Flight at some point do sort of a super Star Wars event where Armada is going on a main table and the X-Wing game is played on the side to resolve things. As far as the value of it, there's a lot of plastic there. It doesn't actually seem like you get a lot of ships. It appears for the Imperial side you're going to be getting a Star Destroyer and 2 small squadrons of TIE fighters. On the Republic side, or the Rebellion side, you're going to have 2 squadrons of X-Wings, but you're going to be getting 2 smaller ships for the larger scale ones. I believe that's the Tarnus. I usually feel like I'm saying that wrong. And then there's another Republic ship, which I recognize, but I can't remember its name off the top of my head. As far as play, it's going to be pretty similar. Dice. There's an interesting mechanic that involves the queuing of actions. They're kind of weird looking. They're these little plastic... They're I guess comparable to the movement dials in Star Wars X-Wing, except they're a bit thicker because there's some room for these extra pieces that allow for you to shift what it is they're on. It's kind of hard to describe, but basically the large ships will actually be able to go over multiple rounds, and you're going to set up a queue up moves that are kind of fixed, but that's kind of part of the planning in it. Another interesting thing is there's actually going to be a movement stick that's actually kind of fragmented into movable sections that'll actually allow for ships to not just pick a straight line or a curve, but will actually allow for a ship to take multiple different directions throughout its overall movement. That's going to be interesting. I'm curious as to whether or not this game will have an expansion. I'm imagining so. I don't know what they'll run. That actually brings up the point of cost. As so far, it appears to be $99.99. Feels a little steep. There's a fair amount of plastic in there, but when I compare it to say like the X-Wing starter kit and maybe say a booster or 2 added, which is comparable to about how many ships you're getting in here, I don't know if it's 100. It might begin to pay for itself if once after buying the starter, the expansions are a bit cheaper. I'm not sure how I feel about that yet, but I'm imagining maybe the fun factor might override me here. I might be getting this anyway. Beyond that, I don't think they've said too much. It looks to have, your standard tokens, cards. It's going to be interesting. I'm probably going to be waiting more for Fantasy Flight. They love to release information in small chunks, so I might get a better understanding of the game as it comes out. But yeah, I'm pretty excited. I guess that's actually about it for the Armada. Thanks for listening, and have a fantastic week.
Thank you for listening to the Beyond the Beard Quick Fix. If you'd like to contact us, send us an email at beyondthebeardpodcast@gmail.com. Give us a call at 304-581-7431, or send us a tweet at BeyondBeardCast. As always, have a good one.